Now that we are finished talking about the drums, we can now talk about the mid-range instruments in a piece of music. As before, when we were talking about the drums, they were the rhythm section of a song, but the mid-range instruments are going to be the tonality and the texture behind a piece of music. So when you're listening to a song, some of the different elements that you can hear, which are mid-range instruments, would include a guitar, a piano, a bass guitar, or even a synthesizer. And these different instruments can play either a melody, a harmony, or a chord progression. I'm going to go ahead and open up Ableton so you can see this in real time. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is open up my instruments on the left hand side, which is this button right here. Inside of the instrument rack, I'm going to find a piano. When I find the one that I like, I'm just going to go ahead and double click on it, and it's going to load up here. Now that we have an instrument selected, we can start putting in MIDI notes within that channel. When you go to the sample pack that I gave you, if you open up the MIDI portion, down here at the bottom, we have different scales. For this particular example, I'm going to go ahead and open up the C major scale and drag it in over here. Now there are three different things that you can play with a mid-range instrument. The first one being a melody, the second one being a harmony, and the third one being a chord progression. Now right here, you can see that only one note is being played at a time. This is what we call a melody. And the particular order of the notes is going to be the C major scale. So let's listen to that. Now another thing we can do is create a harmony for this major scale. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is copy the notes and just move them up over here to the note G. Now, as you can see on the MIDI editor, there's two notes being played every single time, as opposed to over here where one note was being played at a time. Let's go ahead and listen to what that sounds like. There you have it. We have a harmony now. When it comes to the harmony, not each one of the note intervals is going to be the same. So you can literally put these notes right here, and it will still be considered a harmony. They can be at any particular distance away, just as long as it makes sense to you and it sounds good when you're listening back to it. Another thing that we have within this sample pack is different chord progressions and also different chords. Now what a chord is, it is going to be three notes being played at a specific time. So if we want to go ahead and see what a major chord sounds like, you can open up this folder, which is called chords, and just go ahead and drag that in. And this is what a C major chord would sound like. There's three different notes right here, and then the octave, which is the same note, which is C. So just to review, a melody comprises one note being played at a time. A harmony is two notes being played at a time. And a chord progression, it is three or more notes being played at a particular time. Now over here on the left hand side, we also have a folder which is called chord progressions. We have both C major and C minor chord progressions. If we go ahead and just drag in the first chord progression inside of this folder, there's going to be 4 chords. They're labeled right here. And I've taken the time to make these for you so you can go ahead and produce as fast as possible now that you have these MIDI notes and chords. Those chords sound pretty good, don't they? Now there's 20 different progressions that you can experiment with. Yeah, so just take the time to go through all of them and find out which ones you like the most. Now the next portion of this lesson, we're going to be talking about the sub bass.